Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, November 14, 2025. Today is the second day, the second part of the gala for the Tom Horton Free Clinic. So we started off with Kayla, Steve, and Sarah, and they're all interested in what's going on with Marlena because remember on yesterday's episode, Marlena was feeling ill and she had to be rushed to the hospital, and Kayla was the one who did that. So Kayla said that she was going to check on her after the gala ended, and also Sarah as well, because remember, Sarah was the one who prescribed all these tests for her. She has a vested interest in her, well being. Now, Jennifer is also there, and I really don't care for Jennifer, but she is there, and she's there to give her a speech as well. um Jack came there to surprise her, and they sit down there and he talks about her speech and how well she did, as well as they talk about Thomas because her mind is not far away from him, and she's just worried because again, it's not just not only that he went through what he went through physically. She's worried more about his mental state because again, Chad can't seem to stay away from Cat, and because of that, he is being negligent as a father, and she has to do what she has to do, and she's hoping that Jack is going to back her up. And Jackie said, look, I'm on your team, I'm all for what's right, and Abigail would not want that. She would do what's best for her children, so I support you 100,000%. And we just have to do what we have to do. And I'm saying, somebody brought it up that Jennifer has all this nerve to be talking about Chad as a negligent father. Like, what about the person she's married to? Like, he sexually assaulted somebody else. He also wasn't the father of the year, right? If we remembered clearly, he was an absentee father for most of Abigail's and JJ's life. So like, she need to just step it down a little bit. Now, there was a brief interaction between Eli and EJ, because Eli wants to know, like, what's the connection between the disappearances of Tony, Dimitri, and I'm trying to remember the last person, but notably Tony and Dimitri, right? Because they have just disappeared. Oh, Stefan, right? So EJ said, look, like Stefan and Dimitri left Salem on their own volition. As far as for Tony, like, I'm having my people search for him, right? So I can't really answer any questions that you have for me. If you excuse me, maybe police need to do their job, right? So at some point after the gala ends, or it comes to a break or something like that, he does come back to Eli and he asks him if he has any questions for him, anything to finish up, and he said no, just know that I will definitely be looking into this further, right? So there was a scene with Julie, Mike, and I forgot her brother's name. Ben. I think his name is Ben, something like that. So they're there also to celebrate their family. And Julie, talks about Doug the Third and how he returned by the necklace, and they happen to see that the necklace is around Julie's neck. She asks about Doug, where he is. She hasn't heard nothing from him, so apparently he's ashamed to really reach out to her. So she hopes that he reaches out at some point. They do talk more about the Gala 7, how well it's going. Not much really here, right? She does have a conversation with Maggie. Maggie talks to her about, the business woes and working with Xander and everything going on personally. So Julie said, look, like, you came far away from farm girl to head of the business. You can definitely show Xander and Philip a thing or two, own your stuff. So she does take that in stride and say that, yes, she definitely has come far away and she will definitely do what she has to do on the business front, right? There is a conversation between Maggie and Maggie and Marie, but briefly about Holly, and how it's so interesting that she is taking an interest into what's going on with the older generation, and her doing the footage for them and all that. Was there a conversation between Julie and Marie? I'm not sure. It was a lot of conversations as it was on yesterday's episode. So moving forward, right? So Jack and Steve get to talking, briefly about their whole experience at the university hospital, and how Steve was there when he had to be bandaged up with his eye, and how he had to give Jack a kidney, and how it bonded them together. They also talk about their loss, which is their sister Adrian, how she passed away, and that memory will never be out of their heads. And that was really it between the two of them. But Jennifer got to talk with both of her brothers, Mike and Lucas, and Mike and Lucas catch up a bit, and then they, admire how well Jennifer wrote about their, grandfather, and how it went really well. At some point, her and Lucas talk, and Lucas heard about the whole thing with Thomas, and Jennifer asked for his advice on her suing Chad for full custody over there. But Lucas is on her team as usual. A lot of yes men are on Jennifer's side because nobody has the balls to really tell Jennifer that she's really in the wrong and that she needs to step back a bit, right? But he does, give her a point of view about how stressful it was when he wanted to file for full custody over Will, and it didn't really gave him the result that he was looking for. It was just really messy, and he just implored Jennifer to just really be careful with how she really goes along with this, right? So we get into the part where various people are doing different speeches commemorating Tom Horton and his legacy and the hospital. There was Sarah, how she she learned a lot from her late grandfather and how he was to a lot of people, staff included, and she just learned a lot being also a doctor at the hospital. And she just is inspired to just keep on continuing to give great service. There was Dr. Mike Horton. He's also a doctor, and he learned a lot from his grandfather as well as to how to treat patients and staff. Basically the same thing over and over. There was Kayla, who stands on the shoulders of great chiefs of staff before her, and it just inspired her to just be great at what she does and continue to keep up with standard. Jennifer, as much as I can't stand her, she did give a great speech towards the hospital's legacy, her late grandfather, and how he was to the community, bringing it together, and also how he was there in terms of the birds, in terms of the holiday events, how they would have the Santas, and there was flashbacks of Kayla giving birth at the hospital, giving birth to Stephanie. Who else was there? Maggie giving birth to Sarah at the hospital, and there was another speech. Marie also gave a funny speech. How she was not a chief of staff, but she, just talked about how great her father was and what kind of lessons she learned from him. There was Maggie also, talked about the Horton family itself and just being married into the family as well. EJ did a did great actually, hosting the gala, and Kayla even told him that she was skeptical of him at first with his dealings and his motives, but she definitely is proud of how he put the gala together, and he should be proud of himself, right? We all know that EJ has a very evil hidden agenda, but we're yet to find out exactly what's really going on. So uh, Paulina came up there and she gave a speech about how, she didn't know Tom Horton, but she heard a lot from her husband Abe. And she also heard about what a great chief of staff his late wife Lexi was, and that how they continued to just keep a standard that Dr. Tom Horton left behind and the legacy. At some point, she did find EJ and tell him that, look, your sister has broken out of prison. So Kristen is blindfolded and in a remote location, and she is the blindfold is removed, and it's Tony, or in my opinion I think it's Andre, but let's see what happens on next week's episode of These Are For Lives. Definitely a lot to catch up today. What I forgot. So Maggie and Sarah had a conversation about Xander, and Xander not really protesting the divorce, and that he's fully ready to sign and just give her what she wants. And Maggie said that she should enjoy herself at the gala because of course she is worried about Marlena. She's also worried about this whole divorce thing and that Xander won't sign. So, like I said, enjoy the gala. Like, he's not protesting at all. This is great news. So you should feel great. Now, this is it. I think I didn't miss anything. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Happy 60th anniversary, Days Before Lives. I've been watching since I was a little girl, and I know a lot of people have been watching before me. But, here's the 60 more years of drama and just, great storytelling. It's been an honor to watch the show and now to recap it. But let me know, guys. Comment below. I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend.